We'll open it up to questions with the first one going to Mac.
What's up, Michael? Thanks for taking some time to talk to us today. How did you feel about coming into the USC game, getting your first collegiate start and performing the way that you did? How did you feel about that, and what did that mean to you to do that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it feels good. Very excited to get back on the field. We hadn't, since the whole COVID thing happened, we weren't sure if we were going to have a season at all. And so it felt pretty good to get back out there on the field. And, it felt really good to go out there and be able to start and play the way I did.
Jacob.
What would you say the biggest takeaway from you has been in terms of just your preparations for this season? What would you say the biggest change has been in your game over the offseason that kind of allowed you to perform the way you did in week one?
A lot more film study, honestly. Definitely hitting the books pretty hard, watching film. And then a lot of the stuff that Coach Rod and Marvin have been teaching really plays a big factor in it. Coach Rod has been teaching us some really good stuff when it comes to pass rush and just defense, football IQ, and obviously the scheme that Marv brings in. It's definitely allowing us to kind of get loose and make plays.
Trevor.
Michael, there were a lot of questions just about the pass rush capability that you guys would have, and you were insistent, no, we're going to be good this year. You guys seem to do pretty well against USC. How would you evaluate that in your performance compared to just what you expect out of you guys and what Coach Rod expects out of you?
I think, obviously we did pretty well against USC. Obviously we'd like to see some more numbers up there across the board, not just myself and not just the guys starting. But just being able to get everybody into rotation and everybody putting up big numbers, because there's a lot of potential in that D-line room across the board.
Alex.
From a chemistry standpoint, how do you think you guys meshed as a front seven on Saturday?
Pretty well. There was definitely a couple times where there was some lapse of communication. That's the first time we've really, as a front seven, been able to get in there and actually play full speed. We've had a couple scrimmages and, we kind of go through practice, but, actually getting in there and playing full speed against another opponent, there was definitely some lapse in communication, but we started to work through it, especially in the second half. But it's definitely getting there. It was only the first game, so, can't take too much away, but, it's definitely the communication and the chemistry is there for sure.
Oh,
Michael, I know that when week one, there's a lot of things that are unexpected, and maybe the biggest unexpected thing was actually being on the field as a defense for 95 plays. I'm sure that was a big point of emphasis after the game. That not that 80 plays is any better, but really just getting off the field as fast as possible. Well, what's your perspective on that specific element and how much it affected the outcome on Saturday?
I mean, yeah, it's tough. If you want to win a game, you keep their defense on the field, and they sure kept us out there. It's tough when you have to go 95 plays. Definitely kind of wears you down, especially as a defensive unit. And I think Coach Herm held the time. There was a time where they had the ball for their time of possession was like 10 minutes longer than us. So that's pretty tough. We only lost by 1 point, but they had the ball for way longer. They had, they were able to convert a little more than we were. And obviously our defense was out there for a lot longer. So it's definitely some, you start to get fatigued and stuff like that being out there for so long.
Michelle.
Hey, Michael. Obviously, your game has come light years from last year to put yourself in a position to start. What type of workouts did you do over the summer by yourself? I'm assuming when you were home in Texas, to get yourself ready to have this kind of role.
A lot of it was just kind of doing work at my house. Doing a lot of the stuff that we had started doing certain drills in spring ball with Coach Rod, some newer stuff. So kind of took what I learned from there and kind of did a little do-it-yourself at my house. And then there was kind of a point in Texas where towards the end it kind of started to open up some of the gyms and stuff, whether it's for private training with masks and stuff like that. But towards the end of quarantine, or I guess the start of the summer, some stuff kind of started to open up, and so I kind of got in the gym, and that was pretty good.
Jacob.
As you look ahead to Cal this week, what would you say some of the biggest things are that you're going to have to do just in terms of being able to get to their quarterback and kind of what you've seen from them on film?
You know, a lot of they're definitely a physical team, very, very physical team, and their offensive line works really well as a unit. So, you know, obviously I don't want to say too much about about the game plan, but you know, there's definitely we have some stuff ready, and you know, obviously just being physical, and then just kind of working our craft, doing what we learn in practice and transitioning that into the game. That's really the biggest thing.
2 more questions. Jeff.
Can you go into a little more detail about just what it's like to work your way into the position you're in right now? Was it discouraging at all before you were able to really get out there and make a contribution?
No, I mean, you know, Herm kind of preaches this all the time. You just kind of got to find your role. That was really the biggest thing for me. You know, I kind of had to find my role, whether that was a scout team player or that was a, you know, 10 snaps a game player, whatever it is, you got to accept it and, you know, go with it from there, you know, because there's nothing you can change. The only thing you can change, you can only control what you can control. And so at the end of the day, you know, I was still just going to work as hard as I am now as I was earlier. I just, you know, I was fortunate enough to get a chance, get an opportunity to show what I got, and just kind of, you know, now I'm in the position where I am.
Last one, Talia.
You talk about Cal being a physical football team. Obviously, you guys have played a little bit banged up. They have all fresh bodies on their team. Do you think that gives them a little bit of an advantage that they kind of had a longer break than you guys did?
Maybe yes and no. I mean, regardless, we're still going to have to go and play out there anyway. And we're not going to lay down for them, that's for sure. So regardless if we got a couple of bumps and bruises, we're still going to go and play as hard as we can.
All right. Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, thank you.